Hey ghouls and creeps, I'm Britt, and welcome to my channel where we do spooky, DIY, home, and lifestyle content all year long. As a person that loves watching craft tutorials and content that makers have put out of their process, I've watched my fair share of 5-minute craft videos. For the most part, I would say that 5-minute crafts comes up with some pretty innovative ideas that I haven't seen anywhere else. However, I do tend to take things rather literally, and for this reason, I find myself wondering, do 5-minute crafts take 5 minutes, and do they work the way they're demonstrated? So today we're going to be taking 4 Halloween crafts from 5-minute crafts and testing them out to see if they take 5 minutes to make and if I can recreate what they've shown in the video. So they're wrapping the yarn around their hand several times, cutting it, not sure how many times, but we'll figure that out later. Taking a smaller piece of yarn, tying it around the bundle, fanning it out to make a pumpkin, creating a stem out of a pipe cleaner by twisting it, and then threading the twine through to create garland. It's pretty cute. I'm very skeptical though that this is going to take 5 minutes though. Maybe 5 minutes for a couple pumpkins, but yeah, a little doubtful that this is just going to take 5 minutes to make this pumpkin garland. That's why we're going to make it and see how it goes. I think my initial predictions are that we're probably going to be spending upwards of 15 minutes just on wrapping up the pumpkins and probably another 10 minutes on like the stems and threading the pumpkins onto the garland, but we'll see. Maybe it'll only take 5 minutes. So we're taking a paper towel roll or toilet paper roll, putting hot glue around the top edge to create that faux wax strip effect. And then painting to make it look like all one material, like wax. And you can see how the tea light doesn't even fit in the top of that. So I'm wondering if that's even going to be a thing as far as like the tea light just being able to sit right in the top of this, or if I'll have to reduce the circumference of the roll. This one looks like it might be closer to being able to be accomplished in 5 minutes though. My prediction is that it'll probably take me, like assuming that the toilet paper roll or paper towel roll is the correct size around, like maybe 10 minutes to do the hot glue on a couple of them, and then like 5 minutes for painting. Okay, so we're taking glue, putting a ping pong ball in it, and putting it on top of some gauze or some lightweight fabric, wrapping the material around, marking eyes, a mouth, taking it all, putting it in the top, sticking the light bulb in, and voila, you have ghost lighting. I think this is definitely going to take longer than 10 minutes. I think this is definitely going to take longer than 5 minutes to create. I'm guessing probably closer to an hour and a half. If I'm able to find all the materials that they used in this, I'm guessing it should take about that amount of time. But yeah, this is definitely not a 5-minute craft. I think that this is going to be a whole lot more of an undertaking, even as a person that's like notoriously bad at time gauging how long a project is going to take me. I know that this is longer than a 5-minute craft. You got a baby doll head with no eyes. You cut the top off. Setting it upright, you then spray paint it, chip moss through the eyes, and then you have a planter. I think this might be another one like the candlesticks that'll take closer to 5 minutes to create, but even still, I think that like the cutting alone will take probably 5 minutes all by itself, not to mention painting and dry time will take like several hours, but I realize that they're not counting that. So yeah, I think that it'll take probably closer to 15 minutes, Once again, not accounting for dry time. But yeah, let's get started on these projects. Here's a quick look at a lot of the supplies I used for each project. I'll have a complete list of supplies in the video description. As expected, the battery-operated tea lights did not fit and sit right inside the top of the toilet paper roll, so I reduced the circumference by about 3/8 of an inch. Instead of hanging the faux candles from the ceiling with fishing line, I thought it would be a fun alternative to glue 3 candles together at varying heights as a tabletop decor piece. Thought I was being so careful, but I cut the tip of my pointer finger with the brand new blade I put in my X-Acto knife. It didn't hurt, which is why I'm applying pressure on it to see if it starts bleeding, which then makes it bleed. Once I got the bleeding to stop, I came back and switched up my strategy by folding the rolls in half and using scissors. I luckily had the circle stencil available to get an idea of how big the hole needed to be at the top of the skull to put the plant inside. Because I wasn't able to find a doll head in the time frame I needed it by to replicate the original project, I went with the skull, which I think is comparable in size and has the hollowed out inside that was needed. I took some liberties with the Ghost Lights project too. I wanted to go with a brighter light option, and I wanted to go with muslin for its more condensed weave over cheesecloth for its open weave. Because I did not want to have to make 100 ghosts to cover each individual bulb, I instead folded the strand in quarters, matching up the bulbs in sets of 4 and tying them together with zip ties. The time I took to do this was not included in the final time because it wasn't part of the original project. I did test out this method, making sure the ping pong balls fit over the 4 lights before zip tying the entire strand. The process took a couple of attempts to figure out how big the hole needed to be to get the lights inside while also being tight enough not to fall off. I found these eyeballs at the Dollar Tree as a stand-in for the ping pong balls, and they worked out pretty good.
Now give me the beat.
I also zip tied the cords in between the lights to keep them looking less messy. With Zenny's assistance, I cut my ghost squares on bias or 45 degrees in relation to the salvage to keep the edges from fraying. I originally tried a 5x5 inch square, which turned out to be too short. Then I tried an 8x8 inch square, which was too long. And then I cut a 7x7 inch square, which was just right. My ghost making process included cutting a hole in the ping pong balls using the iris as a guide, then folding the muslin squares in quarters and cutting a smallish diamond of material from the center, negotiating the lights through the muslin center, then putting the ping pong ball over the lights as well as the raw edges of the hole in the center of the muslin 25 times. Using Mod Podge and baker's twine, I glued the muslin to the ping pong balls, giving each ghost less of a shuttlecock look and more of a Tootsie Roll Pop wraith look. After allowing the Mod Podge to dry, I used a hole punch to cut eyes out of black cardstock and then adhered them using the smallest of hot glue dollops. To make a pumpkin bundle, I experimented with how many wraps are needed for adequate fullness and determined 35 wraps mins is perfect. I cut my pipe cleaners into quarters and found the length to be too long, so I halved the quarters into eighths for my preferred stem height. Using the loose ends of the yarn holding the bundle together, I tied each pumpkin to the baker's twine, getting resourceful and using the yarn label to evenly space the pumpkins along the garland. Alright, the moment we've all been waiting for, time tallies and an overall synopsis for each project. While making these crafts, I kept a time log of all the different processes involved with making each one, exempting anything that wasn't part of the original project. I'd like to preface this by saying that I did not rush to make any of these projects, so arguably my times could maybe be reduced, but alternatively, I'd like to make the argument that if you're rushing to make the thing, are you enjoying the process really? To start, the skull planner took the least amount of time at 16 minutes and surprised me a little with how much of a legitimate piece of decor it appears to be. It looks like something that could rival some of the pieces from the West Elm Halloween line this year, and for a fraction of the cost, and with not a huge time investment. The faux candlesticks made from repurposed toilet paper rolls took 36 minutes to make and were another surprising end result for me. I've seen other examples of projects where hot glue is used to texturize surfaces and used in molds to create sculpts. So I'd like to experiment more with this medium in the future. Overall though, these turned out so good, despite having to reduce the toilet paper roll circumference and taking longer than 5 minutes. The yarn pumpkin garland took an hour and 21 minutes to make, which could vary depending on your garland length. Although a little messier than my Virgo perfectionism would prefer, these pumpkins turned out so cute with the black pipe cleaners for the stems and the black and white twine. I would recommend this project for sure for quick fall or Halloween decor in a pinch. The ghost lights took a whopping 3 hours and 15 minutes, and this doesn't include the hour it took to zip tie the lights together because this step was not part of the original tutorial. Even though these did take 5 minutes to make times 39, I think they are too cute with their little Baymax eyes, and I'm glad I went with the purple light strand because when lit they look like if cotton candy had an afterlife. Let me know in the comments what you're working on this Halloween season, whether that be decor, a costume, a home haunt, or possibly even baking. I'd love to hear about it. In the next video, we're going to be working on a project inspired by a Salem, Massachusetts iconic landmark, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss when that video comes out. Thank you as always for visiting my creepy craft corner of the internet and for watching till the end. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!
Thank you.